So now, what rules their lives? Based upon this, Punya and Papa. If they shraddha, Punya and Papa becomes the ruling, criteria. The criteria for their lives is whether they are getting more punya than they're getting papa. Is that right? Papa means the merits. Then you're at the hands of the priest. Then you say, hey, I did all these things. Now, in my religion, when I grew up, then you did all the pap, and then every Saturday, you go out there, and you go into this little kind of cubicle like that, and there was this guy that you don't see his face, he doesn't see your face, and then, Lord, forgive me my sins. Here they are, wow, and then wow. That's the, and the guy listens to this garbage. Okay?
To clear the bank account.
To clear the bank account, that's correct. So I can develop, now I can, as a slate, Well, yeah, really? Yeah. Yeah, this is just, now you go and you break coconuts. Isn't it? Yeah. You break coconuts. Isn't it? Mm-hmm. Or you go out there and break a whole bunch of flowers and all that stuff. Oh no, yeah, and some ritual. Or some people, they go out there and do some good deeds. Yeah. A whole bunch of good deeds, so they can start accumulating punya. Why? Because of all these papas, my God, and only good deeds will have the counterbalance. So then the entire life is ruled by punya and papa. That's why it says right here. They said then success and failure, okay, punya and papa become the ruling factors of their life. That takes away my being or gives me my being. And there's mostly, mostly because we're so weak. The flesh is weak, as they say. A lot of pop. We're going to do a lot of work in order to get the punya. And so on. It just becomes a problem. So that's why I said then we're at the mercy of the priest or the Brahmin or whatever you call it. Thus, such people have both, watch this, drishta and adrishta conflict. What does that mean?
That means the results of your...
Same results, that's what he said.
Right. But he calls it what? Conflicts. Failure. Is it a conflict?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Success. Is it a conflict? Like this guy here finally broke a record, okay, in sales. Now you gotta do it next month too. That becomes a problem. Number one in the company. Now there's everybody else wants to get the same. So that's gonna really go and break his. This thing is like a rat race. He said a beat last month, and he said a beat everybody else because he wants to stay up on top. So even success becomes a conflict. I gotta be good, and I was good yesterday, so I better keep it up. It becomes a conflict. Remember that example?
Yoga Kshema.
Yoga Kshema, yeah. Becomes a conflict, and this can be either, look at this, visible, right? Something that you can actually relate to. And it's called stress. You have to drink or something or do anything, whatever it is in order to be able to release a little bit of the energy, watch a lot of football games or whatever. And there's also what? Visible and?
Unseen.
Unseen. Invisible. Well, if it's invisible, so what? I don't see it anyway. I'll tell you what. It gnaws at you. Gnaws, it eats you up inside. And then out of left field, this comes. And you don't know why, but you became depressed. Things are going well, what's the matter? I don't know. I didn't feel like getting up today in the morning. What? This is my God, you got a beautiful house, beautiful wife, your children are behaving and everything else. As a matter of fact, you got your Mercedes-Benz you thought about, and now you got another one for your children also, all this stuff. I don't know, something happening, I don't know. Out of left field, this thing comes. What? Advishta became Drishta. Now it became, or you die. Okay, now you're accumulating this punya power because these Advishta, these conflicts come and they become merits and demerits and you die. Now you go to hell. You know, why? Because you were accumulating all this stuff and now you die, you have shraddha, you have faith in some thing, you believe in heaven. Now all of this stuff is going to accumulate. This is what you were successful, but you were proud. That messed you up. That's also, it's also what? Pop. So these conflicts arise either in the here and the now, which is visible, or non-seen. But then you say, so what? Let me tell you. I wonder how many diseases that we have to do because of the pressure. Because we create a mentality about ourselves that even though it is not conscious, somehow it presses on us. And then the mind stresses out. And the mind doesn't just stress out, I stress out also all this around me. Pretty soon I find myself alone. Or I stress out this entire organism.
Oh yeah.
And what I eat becomes a poison. It's not necessarily that the air is impure so much. It's that even the air that I breathe, I convert it into things that are not supposed to be converted. And so on and so on. Because the chemistry of the body is such that it responds completely to the feelings of the mind. Is that, I mean, I'm just, I don't think I'm making this up.
True.
Even though I might not have the intent to shoot, if I bring a machine gun right here, and I load it up, and I have it right here, okay, you know, tonight's prasad is going to do something. You're going to have diarrhea or something tomorrow. I said, what happened? This fool brought up a machine gun here, he loaded it up, you know, he left it pointing like that, you know. Just the presence of that, just the thought of it creates stress. You don't even think about it, isn't it? So the mind, you know, sends messages to the entire organism. That's why Alexis Carrel, the doctor, a French doctor, says man doesn't die. He kills himself because of these stresses and strain. So the invisible does matter. You know, those unseen results, conflicts, this punya and power, they do matter. Thus, such people have both drishta, which is visible, and adrishta, unseen conflict, attached as they are to the what? Seen and unseen results of their actions. Attached meaning that we can be ruled by them. And that is a tragedy. Because we're not living, in that sense, then we're being lived. And there's no dignity in that. This Bhagavadgita, you know, puts reflects the aim of the light into the situations that are really the core of the human problem. That's why many years ago Swami Dayananda said, you know, if you take the Gita properly, you don't need a psychotherapy. If you take it at heart for what it says, it might just straighten out a lot of thinking that distorts the reality that causes all these conflicts. But it needs to be taken, you know, seriously like that, because we're actually focusing on the human problem at the relative level, because there's no problem really speaking ultimately. That's exactly what was going wrong with Arjuna. He was projecting a whole lot of stuff, and the projections that he was making was based on what? On a superimposition upon the truth. is a delusion. And his job, I'm talking about Lord Krishna's job, the teacher, is to try to help him get rid of the delusion so he can see the fact. That's how the Gita needs to be taken. Not just moral. It's not just a morality class.
These unseen results, individuals don't have any control on that.
You cannot...
They just happen.
Right?
So I can't really do a lot about unseen results.
Now think about this. Watch this. You have no control at all on what they broadcast in the internet. There's garbage and there's great stuff, isn't it? But there's some people, some things are really garbage. Insulting or degrading and all that stuff. But you get control what to watch and what not to watch. Isn't it?
Yeah.
So the mind comes in and this garbage comes out. Just flush it out. The problem is that then we judge ourselves by what comes out. And that's when we lose control. But if we watch it come out, because it will come out. You know, and if you have this vision, then you have a chance to be able to not be, ruled by it. You know, you take away, I think we talked about it before, you roast the seeds with knowledge. You know, roast the seeds, you know, and they cannot watch. Germinate. Germinate, is that the correct word? They cannot germinate. They cannot sprout.
You can reproduce.
That's correct, they cannot sprout. But then, if avidya is ruling, in other words, this knowledge has not dawned upon the person's mind, then the person will just take it right back. Because a judgment will come, a self-judgment comes. That is why the saint suffers so much. He wants to be good. He's doing everything according to a rule, because there's a rule. I don't know if you know this. You know, a person that goes into an order, it's called an order. I'm talking about monastic order. And there's a rule. The person has to live according to a rule and commits to the rule. He lives according to the rule. Enters the order, okay, and the order is called monastic or whatever, and then advised by the rule. Time to get up, time to do this and do that and do this and do that and do that and this. But the garbage keeps coming out. And the person suffers. Now because then he has to flagellate, you know, or do all kinds of stuff. And why? Because I'm not good. And I want to be good, and whatever. I fast, I do all kinds of stuff. And I go and confess, or I go in shame. I do something drastic, I cut my hair off or something. In order to, it's called penance. And penance in Sanskrit is what you guys have, what?
Prayashchit.
Huh?
Prayashchit.
Prayashchit? Is that right? Tapas also. Is it? Penance.
That's what
But penance. There's a penance. In order to be able to harness this mind, this body, cold showers, you know, all this stuff. And he says, you know, because there's lack of understanding of what this is. The premise is that there's something wrong with me. I'm going to be saved. And I'm not helping it. I'm making it worse. So all this hidden stuff comes out. Pride and all these things comes out. And then instead of just flushing it out, you know, then we eat it again. And it becomes very painful. Because there's a self-judgment. Because there's no other self except this, whatever the sense in mind, the senses in the mind tell you. This is very, very tough.